Hello students, welcome back for another session on control statements for loop. And in this session we are going to have a look on some examples of for loop with the various range function applicability, and we'll see there are loop control statements, break, continue and pass, and also we'll talk about finite and infinite loops. To begin with, we'll first write a program to find the sum of first n natural numbers using for loop. So as we need to find a sum of numbers, we'll take a variable sum and initialize it to 0, and then how many till what number we want to find the sum. So first n natural numbers, so n I'll take as input int for I in range 1 till n plus 1. I need to take n plus 1 as it is closed at the range function is closed at the stop value, and I'll increment then sum by this loop counter variable I. Initial value for I will be 1 and the end value will be n plus 1 minus 1, that is n, and the step size will be 1, so it will keep on incrementing by 1 each after each repetition. And we have seen that in while loop we need to put a statement I is equal to I plus 1 after each iteration, but the range functions is there, so it take care of initial value, final value, and also the step size. So we need not write a step size over here. Incrementing the step size is not required when we are using a for loop. And finally we definitely need a output statement, print sum of natural numbers up to n is sum. Save. So if we take 5, so 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 15. Execute one more time. This time I give a value 10. We know that the first 10 natural numbers sum is 55. So this is giving the correct output. Moving on to next example, that is write a program to print all even numbers between 1 and 100. So let us see how it works using a Python. So we need to print all numbers from 1 to 100, even numbers from 1 to 100. So even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. So we should start with the starting value 2 and end with the value 100 for I in range 2 comma 101 comma 2, as the even number starts with 2. And what we are going to write, and we have to put a colon over here, and when I write print I refers to elements one by one from 2 to 101 with the steps of 2, that is 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. So let's save it, and when you execute we get all the numbers beginning with, you can see all the even numbers beginning with 2 we are getting, and it ends with a value 100. So the starting value was 2, the last value wanted to be 100, so that's why we have taken 100 plus 1, and the step size is 2. Moving on to the next program. Write a program to print the table of a number. We have to accept a number from the user. Suppose if the number user gives 5, we have to print the table of 5. So let's understand with the program. Let me modify the same program. N is the number whose table is to be printed. So int input, enter a number. So our range, because I will be this number 1 to 10 we take, and step size we not have. So what we are going to print over here is, we have to print n, then followed by we need to print star, and then the value 1 2 3 4 5 6 with changing in each line, and then the equal to symbol followed by the product n star I. N into 1 is, suppose n is 5, so 5 into 1, then next line 5 into 2, in next line we want to have 5 into 3, and so on and so forth. So let's save it and execute. We'll get, so number 6, you can see we have got the table of 6. Moving on to next program, that is Fibonacci series. Let's see what a Fibonacci series is and how to go about it. Our Fibonacci series, this is a series comprised of these numbers. You can see each term is found out by the sum of previous two terms. So 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 gives 3, 2 plus 3 gives 5, 3 plus 5 gives 8, 8 plus 5 gives 13, and so on. This is the Fibonacci series. So first two numbers of this Fibonacci series are fixed. So we say term 1 comma term 2 is equals to 0 comma 1. These are the fixed values. Now how many terms you need to print? So we have to check out how many terms we need to print. So we'll take n is equal to int output, enter the number of terms required. Now for loop, for I in range three to n plus 1. The first two terms are fixed, 0 and 1. So we'll not be concerned about these two. We'll start with the third element and we'll go up to the final nth element. So before this loop, what you need? Print T1, print T2, and then we'll find the term T3 equals to T1 plus T2. Previous two, sum of each term is successive term is the sum of previous two terms. So we'll find out the next term and print the next term. Then change the previous two terms by writing T1 comma T2 is equal to T2 comma T3. Means the value of T2 will be assigned to T1, the new T1 will be the value of T2, and the new term 2 will be the value of T3. So this way we'll be moving ahead. So if I require the 6 terms only, so it is going to display 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, which are the first 6 terms of the Fibonacci series. I haven't taken care if the user gives just value of n as 0 or 1 or 2. So this is, I am assuming that the user gives number greater than 2. And if you want to check those values also, you have to write certain if statements. If the user gives, if the value of n is equal to 1, then print T1. Elif, if value of n is equals to 2, then print T1, print T2. Else, print I in range. This 4 statements can be written. Let's see the break statement. You can see in this flow chart, we check for a condition. If it holds true, then we move inside the loop, and within the loop we check if there is any condition with the break statement. If there is any statement with the break condition and it holds true, then we exit from the loop. Otherwise we continue with the remaining part of the body, and then we again test for the condition and we iterate till the condition holds true. As the condition becomes false, we come out of the loop and exit it. So the syntax, you can see we have like this: for variable in sequence, and we move inside the loop. If condition, then break. So as soon as the compiler encounters this break statement, the flow of control moves out of the for loop, just out of the enclosing block in which break statement is there. And we may have some more statement inside the loop beside this condition and a break. With the help of an example, we can see for I in welcome, here the sequence of the string is the iterable, and if I equals to C, will break. So when I say for I in welcome, the first value of I will be W. So we check for if I equals to C, so this holds false, so it will print I. So what will print? It will print W. Next value for I will be E. I equals to C is false, so print E. Then print L, and then the next is C. So when I see if I equals to C, break. So we have to skip the rest of the loop and we will come out of the loop, and when we come out of the loop we have the statement print end. So it will print this end string. So this is how the break works. Coming to the next statement, that is loop control statement continue. In this one we first check for a condition, and if condition holds true we move into the loop, and if there is any condition with any decision making which says continue, if it say continue, we move to the next value for the iteration loop counter variable, and we iterate with rest of the values. And if the continue statements holds false, then we keep executing the rest of the body of the statements and then move to the next iteration. So basically continue skips one iteration. So for example, for val in data, if val equals to A, continue, else print val, and out of the loop we are having the end. So it will skip wherever it will get small a. So we are having a string data, so D and T will get printed, but this A and A, this will not printed. So the output will be here, the output will be D, T, and then the end. This will be the output. Moving on, let us see some more examples. When you give this, there is a list t ints 1 2 tuple, there is a tuple t ints 1 2 3 4 5. For I in t ints, if I equals to 3, continue. So when we encounter value 3, we'll skip this iteration and processing integer I will write. So you get processing integer 1 as output, processing integer 2, processing integer 4, processing integer 5, and finally the statement out of the loop, that is done. So we have skipped this printing statement, printing processing integer 3 when I equals to 3 because of this continue statement. And we can see now the both usage of break and continue together. And while true, s is equal to input what is your favorite color. If the users enter blue, it will break, otherwise it will say try again, and it will continue with the next value. This loop will be stopped only when we encounter the user puts on the blue value, otherwise it will keep on going. And the continue helps us to move on to the next iterative value. So basically this break statement happens to be the exit criteria or the terminating criteria for this loop, otherwise it's going to be a infinite loop. Now this is a very important question as per exams are concerned. This questions is very important as far as your job interviews are concerned. So you must know the difference between the break and the continue statement, and you can compare it like what does break do and what does continue do. So break statement terminates the execution of the remaining iteration of the loop. If it is iteration 1 is done, 2 is done, 3 is done, and you encounter a loop, you have to come out of the loop, only the loop executes for 3 times only. But when you use a continuous statement, it terminates only when the current iteration of the loop only for the current iteration of the loop, it skips the rest of the statements and move on to the next statement. So, and control after break and do, where does the control goes when we encounter a break statement or when we encounter a continue statement? When we encounter a break statement, it resumes the control of the program to the end of the loop, enclosing that break statement. So whichever block contains this break statement, it moves out of the block and moves to the very next statement just after the block. And continue resumes the control of the program to the next iteration of the loop, enclosing continue. So it moves to the next iteration. And causes, when break, it causes early termination of the loop when you use break, and continue causes early execution of the next iteration. And continuation break stops the continuation of the loop, but continue do not stop the continuation of the loop, it only stops the current iteration. So this was the difference between break and continue. In exam you can write this also. In break terminates the current loop and executes the remaining statement outside the loop, and continue terminates the current iteration and transfer the loop to the next iteration in the loop, and you can give the examples along with the output. Next is a pass statement, which is also a loop control statement. You can see how the compiler behaves when you get a normal statement and when you get a pass statement. When you get a normal statement, it is executed. When you get a pass statement, compiler जो है it passes the statement and no operation is performed. So in normal statement, some operation is performed, execution is done. In case of a pass statement, no operation is performed by the compiler. So understanding this with a flowchart, you enter a loop, you have a condition, if its value is to true, and do you get some condition with the pass statements. If it encounters yes, you can exit the loop. If it encounters no, you can execute the body of the loop, and until the condition holds false. You can see in this example for char in Python, if char equals to h, pass. Print current character is char. So you don't have to do anything when the current character is h. The pass statement in Python is used when a statement is required syntactically, but you do not want any command or code to be executed. And the pass statement is a null operation. Nothing happens when it executes. Pass is also useful in places where we haven't decided what code to write. So eventually you have not written the code. Now coming to the next thing, finite loops and infinite loops. You can see in the example, we initiate the loop. Suppose there is a list of elements. So is the element in the list? Do something with the list. Is the last element in the list? If it is yes, terminate the loop. If it is no, then again you can check for if it is the element in the list, do something. We keep on repeating these steps until we have an element in the list, and when all the elements are processed in the list, we terminate the loop. So this is a finite number of steps are there till we have. So if there are 5 elements, 5 steps are there. If there are 10 elements, 10 steps are there. But in case of infinite, we check for a condition. If the condition is true, we execute certain statements. We again check for the condition. This happens only when we don't have any terminating criteria for the condition. We step into infinite loops. We'll understand with an example. We have just seen how to print the number from 1 to 5. So count is 1 while count is less than 5. Print count, and count is equal to count plus 1. So it will display 1, 2, 3 and 4, the numbers from 1 to 4. And when you write count is equal to 0 while count is equal to less than 5, print count. So it will print 1 infinitely many times. In this case, because we are incrementing the counter, the value of count is 1 in beginning, then it becomes 2, then 3 and then 4 and so on. But in this case, the value remains 1 always, and 1 is always less than 5. So this condition holds true indefinitely, and this print statement is executed indefinitely. So this is about finite and infinite loops. Thank you very much, students.